Hi, my name is Kevin Barber and I'm from Lean Labs, and this video is an introduction to the growth-driven design methodology. Let's get started. So this is going to be a short walkthrough describing the methodology behind growth-driven design, or sometimes I'll refer to it as GDD. Okay, let's get started. So how do top brands launch and continuously improve their website to where they become in essence a top shelf brand or having a top shelf website? What they do is they don't revamp their website every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years. What they do is they start looking for ways to cut the fat, the things that aren't working, minimize their risk for new ideas they're launching, continuously and learn from those ideas and improve their website as a result, and let everything they do from a website change inform marketing and sales, and let the challenges that marketing and sales are facing inform what gets built on the website. That's at the highest level what growth-driven design is all about. Maybe the best way to understand growth-driven design is by describing more of a traditional web design approach, okay? So the traditional website starts with building a website, right? And after a few years, you realize, oh crap, my website sucks. So you spend 3 months redesigning it, and you launch a whole set of new ideas of what you think is going to work better. And then, generally the website doesn't get many updates for a year or two. And then you're kind of like, oh crap, my website's way out of date again. So you start spending several months and you launch a whole new website again. The problem is as you move from your old site to your hypothesis 1 to hypothesis 2, you never took the time to refine the ideas and really find out if those hypotheses were right or wrong or had way easy ways to improve them. So what traditional web design lacks is the ability to test and tweak and refine the website before you go launch a whole new one. So rather than make giant leaps every few years, it's about making incremental steps on a very regular basis, a monthly basis. And what happens is by making those incremental steps, you're focusing on the things that are going to drive the most ROI, and therefore the growth happens faster than if you work on these large hypothesis-based ideas every several years. The other thing is you get to skip past even having to make those new hypotheses because you're reviewing, refreshing, refining the website so regularly that you're no longer redesigning, you're constantly realigning, basically tweaking the website. Major revamps become rare, if ever. Okay? Also, as a result, because of the incremental steps are happening faster, sales and marketing are going to see a lift from it, right? At the same time that they see that lift, they'll be able to inform someone like me on how we can better enable them, which of course has us working on the right problem and the right priority, which of course only lifts our results further. So growth-driven design, it tends to be focused around several key priorities. Here's a view of those priorities. Basically, boosting conversion, improving user experience, personalization to the site, and building marketing assets that will drive more leads and more customers. Okay? In addition to that, general website updates. Now, Lean Labs has some recipes for how we go about growth-driven design when there's not a specific prioritized campaign to be working on. And we can talk through these recipes at another time, but for the interest of keeping this video at about 5 minutes, I don't want to go into that now. But we have recipes that are proven to work for how we go about growth-driven design, but more aptly, normally as we begin, we already know action items that we need to be working on in order for specific goals to be achieved. And what we do is we prioritize those by impact and a few other fields so that we know which one we should work on first, second, and third. And we're always going to use kind of a first priority in, first priority out approach versus putting too many oars in the water that totally slows our growth. I hope that makes sense. Now, the cost for growth-driven design is really based upon the pace at which you want to go. It can fit budget and growth goals of almost any amount. We have some suggestions that have worked well for different brands in different phases, and I'm going to group those by the amount of traffic to their website. So when a brand has very little traffic to the website, less than 5,000 visits a month, we have found that budgets between 1,600 and 3,400 a month work very well for growth-driven design. We can accomplish a lot even with just 10 points a month. And we'll do a separate video that kind of describes what a point is and what a point means and why we use points. But basically, on a budget of about 1,600 a month is a very good starting point. Not that I haven't worked with a smaller budget, but this does work well as 16 and 24 points. We charge a little bit higher for the lower point levels because there's more administration work as part of it. So we get less actual production out of the month. So therefore, the cost per point is increased. It's not to try to sway you to some other deal. It's just realizing that we get a higher percent of actual value creation when we're working at higher points. For brands with 5 to 20,000 visits a month, we suggest a little bit higher growth-driven design. It's just a suggestion, recommendation. It doesn't mean that you have to pick from one of these, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to understand kind of where we're used to working with brands on growth-driven design. And for brands with a lot of traffic, here tends to be some of the benchmarks of where we tend to work with them on growth-driven design. So between all of these different numbers, basically ranging from $1,600 to $10,000 a month, I bet there's a place that works for you, right? Final view, basically, growth-driven design is the opposite of stagnation. We're going to continuously review, refresh, and refine the website to make it a peak performing asset. It should be your number one marketing tool, your number one sales tool. And I believe that the concept and philosophy of growth-driven design, continuous incremental improvements, is a fantastic foundation for growth. Thanks for watching. I hope you like the format, and I would be more than happy to discuss any questions you have or how you can apply growth-driven design to your business. Thanks for watching. Lean Labs.